need to pump iron. Push out another set. Oh, I should have. Oh, if I was smart, I would have made one up for family.
Ooh, that's
But I
all right.
didn't.
All right, here we go. We're gathered here today to talk about this Fast and Furious movies, which
beloved.
I have seen. I have seen them all once, except maybe Hobbs and Shaw. I can't remember if I saw the trailer for that or the movie.
Both.
So anyway,
It's
I'm
the
going to be
same
relying.
thing.
Yeah, there's no difference.
I actually can't remember. I remember seeing like the prison scene where they break out or something. And yeah, I don't know if that was just the preview or if it was the actual movie. So anyway, I will ask questions like, who's that guy? What did that happen? And yeah, you guys can just talk Fast and Furious, and I will enjoy this.
Talk about the lore of it.
The lore. What about the lore, Kevin?
It's just so in depth. I will say that next week, I forget, I just looked this up, so I'm off to a great start as far as information goes, but it's coming up on the
25th.
20-year anniversary of the first one.
Oh, wow.
And then of course the Fast 9 or F9 or whatever it's called is coming out next Friday. It's pretty insane to think how it's evolved from like the first movie to what it is now. Just, Point Break basically, to now just an insane over the top action movie with very little basis in reality as far as like physics and all that goes.
It starts.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think they just pivoted heavily into the campy, over the top action movie. Like, yeah, the first four are like pretty, or at least the first three or so, are very serious, like grounded movies. And then about Fast Five, you get was Fast Five the
safe in Brazil.
The safe in Brazil tumbling down the freeway. Yeah, that was about where they were kind of like they were teetering, and then like Fast Six, it was like, yeah, no, we're jumping cars out of airplanes. We got parachutes. We're just going full into just this doesn't make sense anymore. I especially love when Dom caught Letty like in midair, over a freeway, and then landed on a car.
Became Thor.
Yeah, he did. He is. The amount of times that man has been in a car accident and just tumbled and is okay.
He's fine.
Yeah, there's I remember in that climactic scene in the first movie was that quarter mile of a race to that train crossing. I was like, oh, that's dangerous. And now, in the later movies, it's like, all right, we're just gonna jump this car between 3 skyscrapers. That's fine. We'll be good there. And it'll be something. Well, sure, we'll get into this as we discuss like the individual movies more, but it definitely was financially. Obviously, this is one of like the biggest, lucrative movie franchises of all time. Which I think in the first few movies it was like okay, and then the fourth one I think exceeded expectations, and then the fifth one kind of started at like $1 billion each time, where it's just like a money making machine.
You mean
and that's what
comes out. Fast 5, yeah.
Because that's when they leaned into just summer blockbuster popcorn flick.
Oh, I love popcorn
It's
movies.
insane that you can start with, let's do Point Break with cars. At 5, you become, let's do Mission Impossible, but more cars.
With
Now
mainly
we're like,
cars.
Let's just do an Avengers movie. Who's gonna say no? Who's gonna stop us?
That's what
No
Hobbs and
one
Shaw
can
was.
touch us now.
Yeah. These characters
Hobbs
are
and Shaw
becoming
was
like
just Avengers.
mythological creatures for sure. Which
I
is
was thinking
interesting.
earlier, will they introduce time travel? I'm like, no, that's too dumb. And I'm like, well, at this point,
Right. Wait till Fast 14, man, and they're gonna have it.
they have said that they're going to go to 11 and then stop.
No,
Is 11 or is it 10? I thought it was 10.
I think it's 11. I
thought 8 started like the final 3 or whatever.
final like trilogy or whatever.
Yeah. So that was 8, 9, 10. There could be 11 because why
10
not?
might be a 2-parter because again, this is Avengers now. So why not make it a 2-parter?
and the book was so long that they had to make it into 2. the Fast and Furious book.
Didn't want to cram too much in there.
So, first of all, they're never going to stop making these movies, ever, unless people stop going to see them, because they make lots of money.
Well, I think they're going to stop. They're stopping the main. They're pulling a Star Wars. So they're stopping the main canon, and then they're doing ancillary movies.
They're going to stop the Toretto. Is that his name? Dominic Toretto?
Yeah.
They're going to stop his the Toretto saga, and then they'll start some other.
Speaking of Star Wars, that's what they did. They did the first 3 movies. They're like, no, we're not going to bring back the original people. And then they did 7, 8, and 9. Like, let's bring back those original people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and Fast and Furious has already done this. They had Dominic Toretto in the first one. He wasn't in 2 and 3, and then they brought him back.
Well, he kind of was in 3. I mean,
5
technically
seconds
speaking.
at the end of the movie. Also, fun fact, they only got him to do the cameo by giving him the rights to Riddick. That's the only reason he showed up.
He just wanted to be in Riddick. Or he wanted to make money off Riddick.
I think that's why he missed 2, if I remember right. Like the timeline of that, why he didn't show back up.
So 2 is like, he got the script, he didn't like it, which fair. That movie is something else. And then he wanted to do Riddick instead. And there's so much. There's just so much.
All right, let's get into it, because I feel like I've seen posts that indicate that some of you guys have been watching Fast and Furious movies this week, which I have not.
Right.
So I remember the first one is basically about some guys like street racing. What happened? Like, who was the bad guy in the first movie? Or was the bad guy just the cops?
No, the bad guy is technically Dominic. It's them.
Oh, because Paul Walker.
Because Paul Walker's a cop. He is going undercover to find out who is stealing the DVD players. That's how old that movie is, guys. That's what they are stealing off of the trucks. They are stealing DVD players.
Not even Blu-ray.
I want to say there might have even been like VCRs. Like, that's how, like, that movie was old. And you're trying to figure out who's doing it, and then you find out, oh, it's Dominic and his crew. Like, that was the plot of that movie.
Okay.
Was him going undercover to find out who was doing all these heists.
I remember Jill and Ben, this must have been about the time the 5th one came out. And Jill and Ben were like, dude, just watch Fast Furious. It's fun. Like, it's stupid, but it's fun. And I watched the first one and I was like, you know what? Okay. That movie was entertaining. Like, I'd way rather watch that than like Transformers or something.
That's a nice compare and contrast there. I would say out of the first like iteration, like basically pre-Rock, before the the focus kind of changed, I would say the original still holds up as the best out of the first 4.
The first 4? Yeah.
It's not like high ground, but it's still, it's a good, heist flick, and we've referenced Point Break several times already, but I don't think it's any big of a secret, but it's well executed. It's a quick watch, and it establishes.
I would say not even of the first 4. I'd say the first one's probably up there in the top, like 2 to 3 for me as like the best movies of the franchise.
It's weird because they're also different genres of movie, though.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is just a strange thing to like contemplate.
But I really like that movie. Like I was telling them before you hopped on. I still have, I think they're up in the attic. I have like the model car kits that I built of like the Charger and the Supra from the first movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, cause I used to watch that movie all the time. So like, I've seen it quite a few times.
So speaking of Point Break, do you think this movie would be better or worse if you replaced Vin Diesel and Paul Walker with Swayze and Keanu? Because
are we talking that same era?
Worse.
Oh,
because we're talking like Matrix era Keanu, and I think Swayze was kind of like Donnie Darko era.
I feel like if you did that, you wouldn't have had as many movies, because they would have like, those are actual like actors, so they would have stayed like a serious movie, and I don't know how many of those like they would have been able to make. Like, because you had Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, they was like, whatever, let's just also jump cars out of buildings.
The people in these movies, like Vin Diesel has become, it's like Mark Hamill. He does a lot of stuff. He does voices and stuff. But Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker. Like, that's what that guy is. And I understand he's an actor, and I'm not trying to like belittle any of that. But at this point, like, Vin Diesel is Dom.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he does other stuff, but man, like, he's Dom. That's what he is.
That's what he's known for.
And like, it's weird because that's like almost a comic book character at this point, you know?
Oh, he's
So
100%
like,
a comic book character at this point.
I feel like it'd be really hard to replace Vin Diesel in a movie with anyone else because it'd be like putting someone else in to be Iron Man. Like, no.
Yeah.
Tony Stark, or, you know, what's his name? Jr.
Yeah, Robert Downey is Iron
Robert
Man.
Downey Jr., yeah. He's Iron Man. And so, like...
It's kind of like...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't...
Just part of what makes these movies is that it's like Vin Diesel...
Yeah.
Dom Toretto going, hey, family. It's like Sly Stallone is like the thing that I'm... You know, you're kind of like... That's such a character at this point.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So
The crazy thing about rewatching 1 is that, well, this is pre-big fame Vin Diesel, so he's not like blown up with steroids, so he doesn't, like, he can actually fit through doorways. But like, he's so like charismatic in the first one, and as these movies go on, he like kind of loses that.
Yeah.
As he gets like bigger and more menacing, but like
what's weird is I feel like he has the same amount of screen time in every scene, but most of his screen time is him going, yeah. Like it's like there's always like a pause where he's like, "Are you thinking, or did you not understand the question?" Like,
yeah,
what's going on?
And the first one, he was kind of like, based on his character, kind of like he did a good job, I thought, of playing like kind of somebody who was playing it cool, but had that kind of psychopathic rage beneath him. Because he beat the crap out of somebody with a wrench when he was holed up in jail.
Yeah.
No, that was what got him into jail.
Or
Yeah.
oh, that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah, he has that like inner rage,
what
which
happened
is
was, yeah. So his dad was a racer. This guy put him into a wall, so his dad dies in a crash, Dale Earnhardt style. So he sees the guy in his garage like the next day or the next week or something, beats the crap out of him with a wrench, and he goes to jail and is banned from the racetrack. And now that guy is a janitor at a school and has to take the bus to work.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much never referenced again, except for in Fast 5, The Rock mentions it, but like nobody cares about it.
And he almost he does the same thing to The Rock.
Yeah. Yeah, he almost does the same thing to The Rock. And everyone's just like, the family.
Yeah, he did almost murder a person.
in the franchise, your bad actions kind of people get over it pretty quickly.
Later in the franchise, your bad actions, they're gone as soon as you did them.
Yeah, it's all good.
You're like, the knife is still in the other person's back, and it's like, you're fine. You're like, one of us.
We could be allies.
Or if you're in Fast 6, you're okay with giving this thing to a known criminal so that we can go save one person, even though if this MacGuffin gets out, it could potentially kill everyone. But we got to go save Mia. All right, Rock. You're okay with that? Okay, cool. You still work for DSS, but all right.
The entire thing became more and more cartoonified. And I mean, Dom's right there, which is interesting because hearing you guys talk about him like having, for lack of a better way of putting it, having character traits in the first movie, really interesting. I hadn't seen the first movie in years. And definitely as time has gone by, it seems like he must have like become more and more of a meme and less of a, character in a movie or a story. But probably everyone did that.
Well, it's also the thing of like, it's like it's a thing that happened with like The Walking Dead too. Of like, you start off with like, you have like a core group of like 4 or 5 characters, but now you have like 15 people in these movies. So it's like,
because it's like in Dragon Ball, every bad guy they beat then becomes like a good guy and becomes part of the team. And so it just grows forever.
So you have all these people now. And then it's also weird, like you have all these weird contracts of like between The Rock, Vin Diesel and Jason Statham about like, none of them can technically lose to each other, and there's like weird stuff about like how many punches. Oh no, that's terrible. Oh yeah. They have some weird contracts where it's like how many punches they can take versus like they have to throw so many, and like there can't be like any indication of like who won a fight, I think, or something like that. Like it's very
that's the type of stuff I never want to know about ever. Who's allowed to beat someone in a contract, but also remember, the street always wins. So there's that. Speaking of winning, so at the end of the first movie,
Cool. Before we get to the end, we have to discuss Race Wars.
Race Wars, love Race
One
Wars.
of those things.
Someone
where,
clip that out.
Sometimes things age poorly.
Mm-hmm.
This it happened immediately. Like, guys, you have to know this is a bad idea.
Yeah, that aged poorly years before you put it in this movie.
Yeah. So they have Race Wars, which is just they go to an airstrip to drag race. You guys, was that the first idea? Were there worse ideas?
Yeah.
Was this the best out of the list?
It probably wasn't the best, but I guarantee you it wasn't the worst. Which begs the question, what was? No, it probably was. It probably was the worst.
I also want to point out in the first one, we mentioned about how pretty much everybody comes back. You know who didn't come back? Ja Rule.
Yeah.
He was in the first one, and that was
never came back in any of them?
No, I don't think so, yeah.
I think it was a contract dispute where he wanted to be paid like a lot to be in the second one, and
so they were like, you know what? We'll get Ludacris.
Yeah, we'll just roadie you.
Yeah, and Ludacris is fine with it. And okay, guess what? It turns out he gets to be in all these movies, and you don't. Suck on that.
So
Hustle and Flow.
Wikipedia says that he was offered $500,000 to be in the second movie. Ja Rule was, and turned it down because he
that's
said
not
it wasn't enough money.
Wow.
Which coincidentally, at the same time like 2 came in, was like right around when Ja Rule stopped being popular.
I was going to say, because
he really screwed himself on 2.
Yeah, because that was like 2003.
Transition to movies, but nope.
He could have stayed relevant.
Yeah, instead he did Fire Festival.
I was going to say, instead he went Fire Festival.
Yeah.
Hey, hindsight's 2020, which is why they shouldn't have then brought Race Wars back in one of the future movies.
Yeah, they brought it back in 6.
We'll talk about that, I guess, when we get to it.
Was it 7? It was in 7. They brought back Race Wars.
I just remember it happened again, and I'm like, how?
Guys, you didn't learn, really?
Like, that's...
Yeah, I was watching that earlier, and I wasn't really watching. I was listening, and I just heard them say. I heard him go Race Wars. I was like, wait, what? Oh, okay, no, it's got it. Cool.
It's just them bringing that back 12 years after the fact.
Also, in the first one, you get the beginning of the love affair with Corona, where they have the house party, and he says, "You can have any beer you want as long as it's a Corona."
Yeah. Now they double and quadruple down on that, to the point where in 7 there's literally he pulls out a bucket of it and it's like, Corona, it's better than this Belgian beer, Corona.
Yeah. And I heard in Fast 9, Dom looks right at the camera and he says, "This movie was sponsored by Corona. Let me tell you a little bit about them."
That's the next step. I don't know how much more on the nose it can be at this point. I mean, every time someone drinks it, it's like label out.
Oh, of course. Everything's always label out.
The technique is beautiful there. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, sorry. I have to drink like Dom does.
Yeah.
It creates more flow that way.
You give the little spin, so it just goes.
Yeah, it's like
down.
the same way the NOS goes into the car. It's the same.
Which I knew it was like a nitro.
Oh, really?
It is.
That's interesting.
Can it be both, Kevin?
I saw it at like 7-Eleven back in my Go-Karts Plus days. I remember that being a fairly popular drink.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever sampled
they're
that.
related.
They're related, but just I definitely knew that the energy drink was a reference to the make my car go fast, now make me go fast.
Yeah.
I also really loved, for a little bit, they had like a little fake top that looked like it was like a bottle. Like, yeah, it had a little valve that and it was cool because that part came off too, and then you had the regular cap, so it was like a secondary thing you could put on to make it look like a valve, which I always thought was kind of neat. All right, so are we gonna rank these on the tier as we go, or are we doing that at the end?
I think probably at the end. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it at the end. We'll kind of unpack everything.
So, unless there's anything else to talk about in the first one, I now remember, thanks to you guys, that Paul Walker was the good guy. I guess Dom was the bad guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what was the result of that film?
Oh boy. Okay. So
they got in.
At the end of Race
I'll let Jory take this.
At the end of Race Wars,
Yep.
Yes.
Right there with
Jesse, who is the tiny little boy who designs their cars, is super smart but kind of dumb. He races the bad guy who's the head of who you think originally might be the bad guys, is this Asian gang. He races him for the pink slip to his Jetta, which is his dad's Jetta. His dad is about to come out of jail. He loses, runs away.
So Tails lost to Knuckles
at Race Wars.
Yes, you're on the page. Yep, keep going.
I think Jory may have froze up, and that's
yeah, that was an interesting point.
Starts to brawl, and then Jesse goes back to their house. He's like, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And bad guys show up, shoot Jesse, spray down the whole house. So Dom and Brian chase after them. Just leave dead kid on the lawn. Just chase after him.
Oh.
They run them down, kill them, and then Brian say, I gotta bring you in, Dominic. I know it was you. He's like, I'm not going back to jail.
So Brian is Paul Walker.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So
got a name.
They're at it at a red light, and Dom says, "You used to end this back in high school. This is exactly a quarter mile to the train track." And so they race. He doesn't try to stop them. He's like, "Okay, I'll race you." Why? No one knows. Just
so the cops just racing the bad guy because.
Yeah.
Well, because Brian is torn because that's now his family.
Yeah.
Oh, that quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
There's actually a reference to it in the next one, which we'll get into.
So they race to the train track. There's a train coming, of course, because it's a movie.
Well, why else would there be a train track?
Yeah.
You think a woman's going to be pregnant and not go into labor? Come on.
You got to. They beat the train, but then Dominic gets T-boned by a truck in the next intersection. And then Brian gives him the keys to his car so he can get away because the cops are coming.
Because Dominic was fine after getting T-boned, right?
Actually, that's like the one time he actually is like hurt, like he's bleeding, his arm is broken. He it's like the one time actually like a vehicle crash, someone was somewhat affected.
Yeah,
because otherwise they get up and go, "Oh, that sucked," even though I just tumbled down a mountain. But that was probably Yep, that was the one time.
And 4, Vin Diesel literally gets shot in the back and he doesn't even grimace.
Yeah.
So it really escalates in later movies. But he's hurt, he gives him the keys, he drives away, and then basically he does the Keanu throw his bridge into the ocean, throw his badge into the ocean because he's not a cop anymore. So that's the end of 1.
So he's like, I'm done being a cop. I need to be a streetcar racer.
Say, you're done being a cop.
And he didn't have a choice in that matter.
Yeah.
So he becomes a villain, a criminal.
Well, not really.
That comes later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we're done with 1, then 2, he's a cop again. So like.
So did they? I forgot who the bad guy. Did they get rid of Knuckles?
Yeah. No. He got shot in the chase. Knuckles got shot in the chase.
Okay. So he wasn't really
a bad guy. Like he was your red herring to think like I'm a bad guy, but really Dom and his crew were the ones stealing the DVD players.
But that's fine though, because now we're family.
Yeah. Well, they're not family yet, but they planted the seeds. Because he also there's
the bewilderment is correct.
Brian liked Dom's sister Mia a lot too, and they revisit that later on.
I remember this. Okay, so that brings us to Fast 2, which you guys have told me.
No, that brings us to Too Fast, Too Furious.
I beg forgiveness. I am so sorry.
Come on now.
You're right. We need to pay these movies the respect that.
Right. Yeah. You want to hear the names of all these movies in order? Because it's pretty. It's pretty great.
Let's have it organically. I like everyone else here just being like, "What did you just say?" So in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Too Fast for y'all. Yeah.
There is no Dom. It's just about Brian. Is that right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Brian
he's now
goes to
guy.
Miami after the events of the first one. I guess they can't extradite from California to Florida for whatever, but he's like street racing there. He there's a race at the beginning which has one of the first ridiculous instances because there's a bridge that comes up towards the end of the race, and I think Brian jumps one of his opponents and he lands fine, and then the opponent crashes or whatever and is messed up. But anyway,
also,
he gets
I didn't rewatch the first two just because I'd seen it a few times. I also remember that looking like some PS2 graphics in 2003.
In the moment.
It does not hold up. It is do you remember?
Well, I don't think it held up at the time.
It's this. I saw this on Dreamcast.
Yeah,
and there was that Power Rangers movie in the '90s, and at the end they had the Zords all shiny and stuff. That's what it reminded me of. Mm-hmm. Except I think they did a little bit better, but it was rough. They definitely improved on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's Crazy Taxi.
But yeah, Brian gets I guess the cops bust. He gets arrested. He was working with the FBI in the first one. There was one agent who was just hated his guts, and then the second one, the same FBI agent shows up, and he's all of a sudden fine with them and oh, let's get you working for us. And so Brian,
you don't have any other choices.
Yeah, Brian. He says, "All right, I'll do it, but I'll do it with my own guy," and that's where the Tyrese, aka Roman Pierce, is introduced into it, which. It's funny how his role evolves too, because he's pretty much just the comic relief throughout the course of the later movies. But
even in that movie too, he's pretty much just yeah.
They he's all tough and stuff at the beginning, but he kind of loosens up.
Yeah, at the beginning he's fighting people and winning. He's being useful generally, and as these movies go on, he's just there for the jokes. And you know what? I'm fine with it.
Yeah. It's okay.
We also get Ludacris, the race promoter in Too Fast, Too Furious, but later becomes the tech hacker guy.
He said he had they referenced he had a past or something that. It's I did stuff before, and it's just that stuff was just being one of the most intelligent or tech savvy people in the history of humanity.
Yeah, he knows C++.
Yeah, he invented it apparently because he's real good at hacking.
What is his name in universe in the movie?
Tej Parker.
Tej, yeah.
Tej. Okay.
But they introduce him, and
Eva Mendes.
Plot is Eva Mendes. Does she pop back up later?
She pops up in the tag of 5 to show you that Letty is still alive. Yeah. She gives The Rock the dossier that has that she's still alive. Spoilers. Sorry.
Oh no.
Oh, this is a spoiler review. Yeah. By the way.
Yeah.
For 20-year-old movies.
There's but yeah, it's the plot. The villain was just kind of I don't even remember his name. He was pretty
it was a Scarface-esque Miami villain that was dealing drugs. You could have swapped
him with the bad guy from Bad Boys 2, and I would.
Yes. Also, if the first one was Point Break, the movie with cars, 2 was definitely just Bad Boys with cars, 100%.
Yeah.
So 2 was it was okay.
Yeah, it was directed by John Singleton, which was interesting. I don't think I realized that before.
I don't know who that is.
Directed. See, this is where preparation comes in because I know this stuff off the top of my head if I written notes.
Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
he's passed away now, but pretty critically acclaimed for somebody going into that type of franchise.
He directed Shaft.
The most recent one or the first one?
The middle one.
There were 3. Never mind.
The 2000 one. I think that's the Samuel Jackson one, right?
At the time, it wasn't necessarily that type of franchise, which is interesting. There had been one movie, and they're like, "Hey, let's get a guy. Let's get Episode 8 director in here, and he can do his own thing." They weren't Marvel characters at that point,
Yeah. Oh, so. In this movie, Paul Walker says "cuz" so many times.
Is it "cuz" or is it "cuh"? Because it sounded like
subtitles say it's "cuz," but he's a "cuh."
It's a "cuh."
It is hilariously bad. it's so crazy that in the first movie, he's pretty good at, like, he's like, I don't know, 85% Keanu in Point Break.
Pretty solid.
He regresses so much in this second movie. I don't know how it's possible.
Oh, also, my favorite part about him and Tyrese's relationship is that they met in juvie. That's how they know each other.
Yeah.
So when he was like, I need a guy, he's like, I got this guy I met in juvie.
There is a scene in there where him and Brian and Roman are talking, and I think Roman asked him like why he came back to help him or something like that. And then they reference what happened at the end of the first one. And Roman asked him like, is what happened between us why you did that? And he was like, yeah, maybe. So it wasn't really that great of an explanation, but at least they referenced it.
So they met in juvie, but weren't friends in the interim until just now.
Yeah. So
is that correct?
Something happened.
They met, but then Brian became a cop, and Roman was still doing misdemeanor type street activities. He got busted for, I think, like stealing tires or something ridiculous, and he blamed Brian for not warning him that he was in trouble. But Brian was not involved in that at all, so he couldn't have done anything. So that's why they stopped talking to each other.
I don't even understand that as you just explained it to me.
Yeah. He's mad because he got caught.
Because reasons.
Crimes.
They're cool now.
Yeah, but now they're friends again.
Also, they drive a car to a yacht.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other thing we need to. That's it. That's real. There's not a whole lot that happens.
End of sentence. Yeah.
That's what they did.
Just needed to be noted.
Hey, that sounds like it might be okay. Like driving a car into a
Josh, did you say you like the odd or the even ones as a generality?
From what I recall, because I remember Tokyo Drift, everyone was like, blah, this is terrible. I think the way I felt about Tokyo Drift was like, that's pretty fun. And I kind of liked, because I feel like Tokyo Drift was kind of a cartoon. And
yeah, because Tokyo Drift was a lot of montages and a lot of just like, because that's where I started rewatching. So I rewatched that.
Nonsense.
It's just a lot of stuff happening, and every once in a while there's a scene where there's a little bit of exposition, and we further the plot a little bit, but then we go to another montage, and then we go to another like cool like set piece showing him going down the hill or like doing some cool thing. But it's a lot of just I feel like that's where they started being like, all right, let's take this a slightly different way and not be a little less of like a grounded movie, a little more just. Here's
it's like
what we're
the
doing.
Rocky IV of car movies, and you're just like, really? A seventh montage? Okay, I guess. I guess we can do this again.
Yeah, you sure can.
Also, I mean, this will mean nothing to anyone, but I hate that they put a Nissan motor in that old Mustang. Like that. That
Tell
really
me about it, Steven. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I want you to go on.
Disgraceful.
I really hate it. Man, that really burns me up about the Nissan motor.
Also, my favorite part about that too is when they do the race at the end, they all have their phones out to like they live stream that race somehow in 2006 to where everyone can see it on their phones, but people are also recording it on their flip phones.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's Japan, so it's different. So it's
probably.
Yeah, they made a GIF. They made a GIF of it, and everyone can see the GIF because GIF files are so small, so you can see the whole race as one GIF.
No, it wasn't. It was live, man. They did it. They were doing it.
Also, it was also like 2015 because that was, and I'm sure they didn't plan this out at all, but they were like, movie just kind of takes place after the sixth one now.
Yeah.
Oh, right, but that was a total retcon,
right? Nonsense.
Yes, episode 7.
Time travel. Spoiler.
Furious 7 just rewrites everything and makes that movie not the third movie in the franchise, but the 6.5, I guess.
Oh, wait, I thought it was 6. After 6, it happened.
So it starts at the end of 6 because Jason Statham, and then the tag of 6 kills Han. But in 7 is actually when that happens, and then actually in 7 is when they show Dom going to Tokyo to talk to the boy that.
Shane.
Yeah, what's his name? Okay, all right. If we're gonna talk about like the most unbelievable parts of this franchise, the most unbelievable part of this franchise is that 42-year-old man pretending like he's a high school anything.
Yeah.
Like the scenes where he is in school it's so clear. It's like, are you the narc that's like here to like pretend to buy drugs.
He
so
goes
can
to the
get
beach a lot, so he has wrinkles.
Is that why he has a widow's peak too and receding hairline?
That's why he has that
sun
pothead.
exposure. It's UVB, dude.
Oh, okay, all right.
But
I
yeah,
taught
he was
some kids who had receding hairlines when I taught high school.
Were
were sensitive about
qualified
it
for
too.
Social Security like he was. He was.
And he didn't have a 401k because he did.
I don't think. Go ahead, Jory.
We didn't go. Well, I mean, you can go ahead because I was going to say what the plot of 3 was because we just kind of skipped straight to the end of 3.
I was gonna say that I would have been forgivable. I feel if his performance was good enough to like, all right, he's older, but whatever, he's a lot of fun. But it just was like,
No,
I don't know if it was the material or the actor or whatever.
It was both. But
Yeah,
there's definitely a reason. Like, if you were to have someone that old, and you were to have that specific person because that specific person was good, then you could at least say there was a reason for it. But they had someone that old who wasn't.
Yeah.
And I don't. But see, that was the moment for me where something like a little key went, and I'm like, oh, these aren't movies. This is a cartoon. Like, that's fine. And so the guy's like, y'all ever go to the Sitco? And they're like, this is Japan. We don't have that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Honestly, it's actually, I think his actual accent, like he's not like putting anything on, but like his accent is just all over the place and weird, but that's just how he talks. So it's not like, I really thought that was a performance choice, like the first time I saw it. And then like I had listened to him, like, I thought he was just a guy doing a bad Southern accent, but no, 100%. That's just how he talks.
He just talks in a bad Southern accent.
Yeah.
So he has that terrible Texas accent, but the whole point is that they've been moving around a lot, and they ended up in Texas at the beginning of the movie. So where did he pick up that accent?
Well, Texas
from?
is a big place. He could have been moving around in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but they're like military family in some point, so like they weren't just moving from base to base in Texas.
His pops was Navy, a lieutenant, if I remember correctly.
That's got to be the least important detail in all of this.
I mean, yeah, sorry.
Where did this guy go to elementary school, and what was his 5th grade teacher's name is what I want to know. We skipped, Jory, you said we skipped the end of the second one. What was the conflict? We talked about ancillary characters in the second one. Who were good guys.
It was the Bad Boys 2 Miami Vice style drug lord.
Oh, that's right. The Scarface dude. So I guess they beat him, right?
They beat him. Yeah.
They drive a car into his boat and beat him.
Oh, that's how they beat him, was driving onto the yacht.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, well, we could do 2 fast. Okay, so we already know all the principal guys. So they are hired as drivers for this Miami drug lord guy to move his cash around. And they go to his trailer, pick up his money. They think they're going to go to this airstrip because Eva Mendes is a DEA mole in Drug Guy's operation.
But Brian is also a mole, or he's just a full bad guy at this point?
I mean, he
works with the FBI.
He's working with the police.
So he's an independent contractor for the FBI.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have to mention there's a club scene where the bad guy brings in a police captain or whatever into the back of his little club, and he needs to buy a window of time so they can move his money across the city. He does this by getting a woman to seduce him, to bring him into the back. They drag him down, hold him down on a couch, put a rat on top of him, and then put a bucket on top of the rat on his stomach. And then heat up the bucket with a blowtorch until the rat starts digging through the guy's stomach to get away from the heat, which is...
Was it a metal bucket?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be burning into him too, as metal is an extremely good conductor of heat?
Yeah, correct.
But the rat went faster than that through him.
Well, all it did was scratch him up a bit. It didn't actually... it just scratched him up a little bit. And he's like, okay, I'll give you your window.
And
the
bucket didn't burn him at all. Just the rat scratched him a little bit.
There was a circle, but that's just from holding the bucket down.
A circle.
That's all that is.
Okay. Well, this sounds excellent. I mean, this sounds great.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought. By the way, I think to answer your question, Kevin, I do feel like I thought the odd ones were worse, up to a point, up to like 6 or 7 or something.
So they get this window of time. They go to this trailer, get the money. They've got police helicopters and police chasing them because like 10 seconds later, the police captain's like, hey, everyone go to the trailer. It's like, so you really didn't buy any time at all. But whatever. So they have the money. They go to a midway point where they get all the street racers they know to come out of the warehouse at the same time to
Oh, yes. I remember
switch
this.
cars.
Yes.
Yeah. So they switch cars so they don't know, they can't track them. So there's the iconic ejectocito cuz moment because he puts a NOS in a seat attached to a trigger. So they've got the bad guys in the passenger seats. So they shoot them out the door to get rid of them. Tyrese does. Brian can't do that because they're not going to the airfield that Eva Mendes told them they were going to, because that was a lie to find out who. I mean, everyone's a mole in this gang, but they find out she's one of the many moles.
There's not a single bad guy in the gang. It's just all undercover cops.
Yep. So Brian is like, we're going to go to the airstrip. And the bad guy in his car is like, who said anything about an airstrip? We're going to Tarpon Point or something like that, where the boat is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'll see. We went to the whole thing, but yeah.
So they show up, and then the bad guy's like, "Oh, I know that Eva Mendes has been betraying me now because she's the only one I told about the airstrip." So they take her on the boat, and they're like, "Go kill Brian and Tyrese." They fail, of course, and then they jump the car into the boat to stop the bad guy. And then they steal some of his drug money and don't give it to the FBI. So now they have money.
Oh, so they have money to live on by being criminals.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a happy ending.
But they're better. They're better than the other criminals, so they're good.
Yeah, it's fine. They're good criminals.
Everything's a sliding scale. Yeah. So 3, the Tokyo Drift, introduced Han. Han was a cool character. And then what was like kind of the end result of Tokyo Drift? Anything at all? Like it seemed like a standalone movie.
It was pretty well, except for Dom showing up at the end, which, as Jory referenced earlier, they had to like give the rights to Riddick or something like that.
Yeah,
sure.
He only showed up because they were going to give him the rights to Riddick.
And I feel like that's when like he just pulls up and rolls down the window or something, right?
Yeah.
At the end, he just shows, hey, there's a guy here who wants to race the Drift King.
Right.
And then he pulls up and it's
so
Dom.
It's just like a cute
and it's like,
little,
I got all the time in the world. With like no reference to him knowing Han at all.
Which he does not.
Yeah.
No, yeah, okay. He did.
By the way, how did he get the car over there? Did he like go on a boat?
Yeah.
Did he drive it?
No, cars. Yeah, they go on boat.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a different car.
Probably just dropped it out of an airplane while in it and just landed on a parking garage.
They didn't have those skills at that point.
No, well, technically they do because that's after that movie happened. So yes, he could have dropped it out of a plane.
Yeah, they had done that before.
Josh, you blurry.
Yeah,
I am blurry. Let's see if I can fix that.
You witness protection.
My favorite scene in that movie is when he does the drift in the middle of like the open streets, and there's so many people there.
Yeah,
and all of them just move, but he doesn't like slow down at all. Like he should have murdered a lot of those people.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying I want it. Well, it's a movie. It
has that aerial shot too of like all like the below this, or showing the street and like him doing the loop and like all the little ant people just moving out of the way and like
These movies are all rated PG-13, right?
Yeah,
there's no way there are.
There's no more than that. If even
right. Okay,
got to get that
cash. Get that money.
Yeah.
So Fast and Furious. Yeah. That is the 4th one, right?
Yes.
Correct.
And who are the main characters? Dom is back, I assume?
Dom is back.
The main 4
Brian is back.
Brian, Mia, Letty.
Okay, and Dom.
Yeah.
I will say hands down 4 is the worst movie of the franchise.
Ooh, spicy.
I feel like that's the one that started my going, oh, maybe this is a Star Trek thing where they go good, bad, good, bad. Because I remember watching 4 with Jill and Ben and being like, Roblox oof sound.
Yeah. It's just like, 4 is the one where Letty dies at the beginning. It's just, then there's tunnels. They go through tunnels. They're running drugs for the cartel.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just not. It's not good. It's just. It was definitely. It was like, all right, we got all the people back. Like that was the big thing about it. Of like we've got everyone back. We're starting to make these movies again. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the tunnel thing. That movie was trash. I didn't like it.
I mean, you do get at the end. My favorite part is that the bad guy in that movie, who is what's his name in The Boys? He's Mother's Milk.
Oh
yeah, he's the bad guy in that movie. The way that they take him out is that they have like a fight, and then like Brian's on the ground, and Dom is coming at him in his Charger, and so he starts to shoot at him. So Dom revs the engine, so the car lifts up, so he blocks the bullets with the car, and then Brian holds his legs so that Dom can hit him with a car.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was really graphic.
Insane. I don't think we can repeat what he says on the stream, but basically,
you can baby it up though.
Vin Diesel says, "You're a punk for not being able to survive being hit by a car going 100 miles an hour."
Yeah.
Which is the most insane response to hitting someone with a car I've ever seen in my life.
Well, he should have done better. Like, I mean, you got to block.
You just got to tense up your abs, and you can take that car hit. It's
force strength.
Just hit B.
In fact, you're weak because you died.
You are weak because of that 2,000-pound machine.
So. Yeah, I mean, so like really the main plot thing you get out of that movie is that Letty dies. That guy kills Letty.
Now, how does he kill her?
Yeah. So the whole thing about them running the cars through the cartel, like through the tunnels, is that at the end, basically they get new drivers every time, and they kill those people so that way no one knows where the tunnels are.
Oh, so they just killed her because you went in the tunnel?
Yeah, because she ran it. So she was like, so she tries to escape for a little bit. He wrecks her and then shoots her, and then the car blows up. But then you find out later. Okay, we'll talk about that later. But yeah.
Okay, so she got killed for doing the job that they all chose to do.
Yeah.
And that didn't make any of them think twice about being criminals and working for cartels or anything like that.
So you find out, no. So with that movie, you find out later in the movie that Brian, who is a police officer again.
FBI agent, I thought.
Again. Just again.
Yeah. He's an FBI agent this time.
Yeah, he's an FBI agent. He's an officer.
Fine.
He's an officer.
He's an officer.
Letty was undercover to basically work off Dom's sentence so that he could come back to America.
So how does Letty,
because he's got his
work
passport,
off Dom's sentence? Is that a thing that they do? I guess that's a thing that they do.
Sure.
No, it sure isn't, but they do in this movie.
I mean, they probably do. They probably do that.
Sure. Yeah. If you help us, we'll help you. Maybe. Sure. But that's what she was doing.
So Dom had a sentence though. Dom was.
Well, I mean, he's wanted. He's wanted.
Yeah,
I guess
after wine, he took Brian's car and drove down to Mexico and beyond.
Yeah.
So he's in the wind. Until 4, when he shows up again and no one stops him.
I'll say this movie does have a couple of and again, marking more and more ridiculous things happening. I think it's the opening scene where they were trying to jack the tanker, and then the tanker, the gas tanker, and it like on fire and flipping over, and Dom and Letty were in the car, and he managed to time it just right to where they drove under it and not die.
About some sketchy CG.
Oh, that was not, especially being years later, that was not good. And then the other scene, which I don't think it's been referenced again, but when Dom was inspecting the crash site of Letty, that
is in 4. Yeah, that is there.
The one where she survived.
I don't know if he smelled. Oh yeah, she survived. Yeah, but he inspected it and was had some insane amount of knowledge about what
it was. A Sherlock scene.
Vision.
Yeah. Yes. All of a sudden, he literally looks and he could see the car coming and going, and then he finds some powder on the ground that there's only one guy in town that does that.
These nitro.
Well, that was a very popular trope. I feel like that's when House MD was a big thing, And they're like, oh, look at this guy. And Zach Galifianakis was doing the math on that GIF. That was all around the same time, right?
It was about the time of Sherlock, too. So, it's about that time. But, 2011. So.
We talked about the acting, Brian being kind of not so good in 2. Do you feel he was kind of better in this one.
Yeah, I mean,
He was more like an adult.
Yeah, he got the job done.
Did Paul Walker do a lot of stuff that wasn't Fast and Furious?
Yeah.
There's like some lesser known movies that are like kind of have good critic reviews. I've never actually seen any of them.
He's in Varsity Blues.
That surfing movie.
Yeah, Into the Blue.
Yeah, Into the Blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a couple, but no, Fast and Furious was definitely his thing.
I feel like as the series went along, even though like I felt like his performances were pretty good, aside from 2.
Yeah.
Like he was good as kind of like I feel like he was probably like the most like not like a quote unquote good guy, but the one who had like the least checkered past, like not bashing people's faces in with a red.
It is interesting that like the whole movie or the whole series, if we count 1 and 4 so far as the whole series, there's this interplay of Brian and Dom, and they had that kind of yin and yang up until they're like, well, this thing happened, so I guess now these movies are just about Dom. And what a strange thing to have to suddenly pivot to, like, this Yang is now just the main character.
Yeah. Which also, in 4, that's when Vin Diesel became a producer on the movies too. So.
Oh, nice. He's getting that money.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all keep going. I'll be right back.
So, Fast 5, right?
Yes.
All right.
Talk about perfection.
Is it awesome?
Oh, I love this movie.
Yeah, so Fast 5 is where The Rock comes in, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and it becomes Mission Impossible.
Is this the one where they're swinging around the thing behind the car?
Yeah, they have the safe in the streets in Brazil.
Yep. And this is also the one that cemented after 4. I'm like, these are good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Because this one was like a banger. For what it is.
Because 6 is pretty good too, though.
Yeah. So like the first 4 movies, they're like, we can't promise we'll make good movies, but we're going to try to make real movies. They're going to be ridiculous, but they're going to be real movies. And then 5 is like, what if we made a movie that's just all sugar? Just all sugar. And is it good?
Yeah,
so this is a turning point for the Fast saga.
Yeah, Fast 5 is when they go, all right, cool. Yeah, we're just going to
understand what we are now.
We know we are. We're just a crazy over-the-top action movie.
It's like, Kingpin going, I understand. I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, 100%.
This is the movie where, like, so every movie before this, they're like, if we can put street racing in it, we're going to put it in. This movie's like, there's a scene where, like, we got to go get a car. They show all the lead up to a street race, and then just skip to they have the car now.
I remember that.
Oh, this isn't a car movie anymore. This is Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
With cars.
They have a car race earlier in the movie, don't they?
So they have a car race.
There's usually at least one car race, like one street race.
Oh, God, I could talk about this movie for hours.
But isn't that the one where it like literally cuts from like they're like about to race and then it just cuts to them having the car?
Yeah.
Then they pull into the warehouse with the cars.
Yeah.
Because what do you want to see? Racing? Get off it. I'll show you what you want to see in just a minute.
Just give me the set pieces. Give me all the set pieces. Okay, so Fast 5 starts after 4. Brian and Mia and some other people are going to go free Dominic Toretto because at the end of 4, they're like, well, he helped us bring down this drug dealer, but that doesn't make up for all the wrong he's done, which, true.
And Letty's still dead, right?
Yep.
Okay, and Brian still works for FBI?
Nope.
He was until the end of 4. Until the end of 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now he's just like, let's go save my family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on this prison, also, if you watch the extended version, there's like a little news clip that shows the scene I'm about to talk to, and it has Pert Hapley from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, it does. Yes, I forgot about that.
I love it so.
No, I think Pert Hapley's in the theatrical cut too.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, because I watched it the other day, and I was like, oh, that's Pert Hapley. Like, yeah.
Okay, so they're in a bunch of very small cars, and they know exactly the prison bus that Dom is going to be on. They flip this prison bus. No one dies. And Dominic is the only one who leaves the bus. So they just pick him up and they drive away.
Cool.
After flipping this bus.
Pretty easy.
I don't think they have seatbelts on this bus, but everyone's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're driving down through Central and South America, living job to job, doing what they can. They end up at Vince's house, who's from the first movie.
The guy he's like the kind of the guy who keeps antagonizing Brian, the guy with the beard. Yeah. I think he steals his Corona from him. Actually, Brian does.
Yeah, that same guy.
Yeah.
So he's the bad guy in this movie, Vince?
Nope.
No, he's an ally now. He's fine.
Oh, of course he is. What was I thinking?
There's like a couple of lines of dialogue that address it.
He was kind of a bad guy for a minute, but yeah.
God. Yeah. Okay. So
it was uncertain, but yeah. Anyways,
they get a job to get these cars off of a train that have been tagged by the DEA, but they're in Brazil. Sure. Okay. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, absolutely.
They go to the train, they go to the back of the train, to the car that has these cars in it. They blowtorch the side of the train car open, and who's waiting for you? Dominic Toretto.
Oh, he knew where they were going to blowtorch the side of it. Oh, yep. Dom.
Yep. Oh,
well, they were meeting up with him anyway. Like, it wasn't like he...
Like, oh, he's not going to...
He had like a pretty good chance.
We don't know where he is. And then he shows up. Okay, so they drive these cars out of the train car into the desert. The DEA sees them being robbed, runs back. There's a whole fight. This all leads up to Dominic and Brian being on a car and jumping off of a cliff and landing in water 400 feet down.
Was this the first fast cliff jump, or first fast, like we're just gonna was the yacht one where it's like ridiculous, or was the yacht somewhat like acceptable?
Yeah, it was somewhat like it did damage, and like it was like a thing, like, you know, it was okay.
So this is the first time just gravity doesn't matter. We're gonna be fine.
Also, he had plenty of time to stop or turn that car away from the cliff. He chose to drive off the cliff.
Well, turning wouldn't be fast or furious, so he had to keep going. He just had to.
They're aware of the name of the
I do wonder how they shot that scene, because it is kind of cool, because you have that shot of Paul Walker like jumping up on the car, and like it looks like he's in zero gravity and like standing on the back of the car, and both of them like before they jump out. So that would be cool to see how they actually shot that, because it does look like they're in like 0G or something. But
you think he was just saying that? I think
out of all the Fast movies, I like the cinematography on this one the best.
Sweet.
Out of it,
you get oily rock, which is good.
Yep, all that baby oil on it.
So Rock comes in. Rock is like a cop, right?
Yes,
but he's a cop for that country. Where are they again?
No,
so he's an American.
He's an
American agency. Yeah. He works for DSS, which I forget what it stands for.
Well, he works for Under Armour, actually, based on him always wearing Under Armour shirts that are three sizes. He's
the Under Armour agent whose job is basically to pull it. His team, they get the criminals that no one else can catch. That's what
right, because he's the Rock. So we're going to.
The great thing about this is that his team is actually very bad.
But he's not.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and then at the end of this movie, there's not a lot of them because they get killed. Yeah, most of them, except for
I love when he made his team put back together a full car. That was cool. Yeah, Elena is the Brazilian cop that he gets because he likes her smile.
I was gonna say, is this the movie? Because I thought he was the cop from that country. Because there's a cop from that country. That's that woman.
Yeah.
And she's like, everything is so corrupt. I can't do anything. And he's like, well, you need to join my team.
Yeah, he's like, well, yeah. He gets there, he's like, I want this one. And they're like, why? He's like, because she has a pretty smile. And you find out her husband was murdered by drug lords, so she's trustable and blah 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 blah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh boy. So they land in the water.
Jory, I know you love this. Jory, I know you love this movie, but we don't need to do a rundown of the entire plot. I know you love it. I can tell you want to do it, but we don't need to do the entire plot.
Okay.
But this is the one where they get to the scene where they're like dragging
the tank or the safe.
Okay. So they land in the water to meet bad guy. Bad guy's like, I don't like you. Fast forward, they're like, we're gonna steal this bad guy's money. And that's how they find out he has all the police in his pocket. So he moves all of his money to the police station. So they ram the Rock's tank into the police station walls to pull the safe out of the wall with two cars and then drive throughout Rio, dragging a safe and destroying everything.
Yeah.
And this is the moment that the series, depending on your viewpoint, either jumped the shark or became its true form.
Yeah. I'd say both.
That is option number 2.
Oh no, absolutely.
It became its true form by jumping the shark.
Sure, yeah. But like, if this was about some people racing,
not anymore.
Yeah,
they have one drag race with some cop cars, and they're like, "Oh wait, I guess we do have to have one race." Yeah. I guess, if you insist.
But for an action scene, I mean, I remember watching that and being like, "This is."
Yeah, I mean,
I'm laughing at this. This is awesome. This is entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, logically speaking, and when you think about physics, if you think about any of that, you're thinking way too hard for this kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, the physics don't matter in this movie, and we don't care about those. And apparently,
it's also the first movie where they have like all the big crew together, because you have this is where Roman and Tej come back. I don't know if we mentioned Giselle, Gal Gadot's character, but she was
but this is where
and then she's back in this one.
Yeah, she was in 4.
Here. The Don Omar and whoever that other guy is.
So they got a whole crew.
The two Hispanic guys.
This is their Avengers moment, where they all assemble and then wreck a city and then leave it behind.
Well, then and then you get The Rock is still trying to bring them in, but like agrees, like, yeah, I'm gonna help you take down this warlord. And you do get the cool scene where they trick The Rock and think that they're leaving the vault, but when they go under an underpass, the vault goes into a garbage truck, and then they grab onto another vault, so they're dragging around an empty vault. So they become
the other vault, man.
They all become like billionaires, which is crazy.
Yeah. Because now they just need infinite power. They don't need to be. How are they surviving? Listen, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah.
And this, remembering that action scene, this is absolutely the movie where I was watching with Jill and Ben, and I'm like, I see. It's good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. It was Fast 5 that I was like, there we go. So 6 may have been good. That was just the moment where I realized like that pattern in what I had seen so far. But 6, Fast and Furious 6, is that the name of that movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like no rhyme or reason. It's just like, it's some variations of the word The Fast and the Furious and a number.
I think they just have die that say Fast, Furious, or a number on them, and then just roll them for each movie, and whatever comes up, that's what we're calling it. If it's a blank,
we might have a the in there. We might not. We'll figure it out.
I really like the idea that somehow somebody just slipped some in, and they roll it, and it's like Tokyo Drift.
What?
Like, all right, fine. We have to abide by the rules.
We have to abide by the dice. So, Stephen, you said that you felt like 6 was, even though it was an odd one, pretty good. Yeah. So what were the high points of 6, Stephen?
Oh gosh, now I gotta remember it, because I watched them all in like quick succession for the most part. 6 is Jason Statham's brother.
So is this Jason Statham's first moment in this franchise?
Jason Statham's not in it. He comes in he is the tag at the end.
Okay.
It's his it's like Danny or what? No, what's his? It starts with
Luke. Is it Luke?
So the entire movie is just a way to get Jason Statham into the franchise. Jason Statham, you heard it right.
And basically,
it should be every franchise.
And that guy is just anti-Dom too, because his thing is like, family. It's stupid to have family. The team should be interchangeable parts.
That's right. That's when they had realized, again, we're a cartoon. Well, what's the opposite of Dom? The cartoon character who loves family. The cartoon character who, no, it's only yourself. You can't have family. Is this the movie where they were on the runway for like?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
For like
the longest runway in the history of mankind.
So
however many miles long.
I looked it up. Someone did the math. I'll tell.
And it's not a circle runway, right? It's just
it's a straight shot.
No.
I remember watching that. It's just looking over at Ben and being like, dude, they've been driving
for like a half hour.
It's been like a good 10 or 15 minutes, and they're going fast.
And they're just like, we got to pick up more speed. We're driving too much weight. We got to pick up more speed. Like, guys, you're not going to make it.
And it's fun. I mean, it's good fun, but like, I feel like that's one of those things that's extremely hard not to notice.
Yeah.
we've already
this is
suspended
not-
our disbelief heavily, you know. But it's just like, wow, they're still going, eh?
Yeah.
This was the one with that that bridge scene where, well, first off, the bad guys are on a tank just driving on a bridge firing.
Yeah. Well,
around.
I'll say and go back a little bit further too. The big thing about 6 is that Letty is back.
Yeah, and she has amnesia.
Yeah, the very end of 5, the tag for that is that Eva Mendes' character comes back and gives The Rock a dossier. It's like, guess what? She's alive. So that's how they get Dom and everyone to come out of, like, they're all, I forget where they are. They're in a country where there's no extradition. They have millions of dollars. They don't need. They're fine. So,
there's no reason they would play anymore.
But also, Brian,
But
like, I have all this money, but it doesn't feel like home. So we'll do this job if we can get pardons and go back home.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brian has a kid now.
they have a kid too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the big thing about 6 is that she's alive and she has amnesia and is working for. What was his name? Luke? Is it Luke?
It's Luke now. It doesn't matter if his name actually is.
Working with Luke's team.
Yeah.
So
and you
Letty
find out,
was
like,
dead for almost one movie.
No.
4 and then the entirety of 5 until the end.
Until the end.
Mid credits or whatever it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and she's working with him, and he's basically that's also where they start with where the villains are just he's basically an international spy who is good at driving and has all of the governments in his pocket and has information on everyone, and he's just super spy.
Yeah.
And he has this go-kart car that flips other cars.
So cool.
Yeah.
This is cool, like, actually, because I've never sat down and watched all of them back to back. Jory, maybe you
wouldn't
have.
recommend it. I would not recommend it. It's too much.
But so it feels like 5 and 6 are where we're like kind of finding out our who
down
we
their
are.
stride, and they're like, here, this is what we are now.
Okay.
I found it. Someone did the math, like averaging about like how fast they were going. That runway would have been about 18.3 miles. The world's longest current runway is in China, and it is 3.5.
Okay. So cool. 6 times longer.
So yeah. So
this was the last Justin Lin directed movie, I think, because I think he did 5 and 6 and 3 and
he did Tokyo Drift through 6. Yes.
Okay. And he's coming back for 9.
Yeah, he's come back for 9.
Okay.
Yeah, because James Wan did 7.
James Wan is the guy who did Saw. Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Who did what?
Saw.
Oh, he might have. I know he did Aquaman. I know that's what I know him from.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
nice,
probably a more
nice.
relevant reference.
So I can see that. Any other noteworthy things about 6?
Character death, we have Giselle, who got shot taking a bullet for Han.
No, she gets shot.
She jumped off a car to shoot a bad guy.
Yeah, she lets go of being held up so she can pull out her gun and shoot a guy to save Han.
And then what had happened to her? Because she's dead.
She just falls off. She falls off on that runway.
We never saw her dead body.
You never saw her dead body.
Okay, so she's probably still alive because nobody actually dies.
When we get to what we think Nine's going to talk, But
after
yeah,
credit
she has
scene,
not
there
been
she
in any
is.
movie since then to kind of follow up on that earlier.
yeah, I feel like the other stuff with 6 was we had what's her name? Who was the cop turned that was the mole?
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano. I completely forgot she was in this franchise.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about
That's
it.
from
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, she's in Haywire, which is a great movie.
What even is that? I've never even heard of that.
It's Gina Carano being a spy and just fighting a bunch of people, and it's fantastic.
Cool. I'm gonna have to watch that then.
Yeah. So she might come. I don't remember if she got killed too, but I'm sure she won't come back as long as she doesn't.
You don't remember? Hold on.
Ignorant.
You don't remember what happened to her?
Yeah.
Kevin, she took a harpoon gun to the chest and flew out of a plane.
They'll fix it. It's fine. They'll work around it.
Letty could have just kicked her out or done anything, but like Dom just tosses her the harpoon gun. Harpoon gun. Because that's the other thing is in this movie they have this tensile strength harpoon gun shooter thing that's fueled by NOS.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they're fighting, and Dom just tosses her that, and she points it at her and shoots her through the chest with a harpoon, and then she flies out of the plane. So I think.
Well, they do have basically superhumans that they introduced later on.
Of concrete, so it's definitely going through her body.
Yeah, those harpoons are what the cars were using to latch onto the plane and be dragged by the plane. So
There
I
you
think
go. That makes sense.
yeah, I think she's probably.
Makes sense.
So it's probably a mere flesh wound.
I think that launched her from the planet that they're on to whatever planet she ended up on in The Mandalorian. Like,
That's a tie. Also, speaking of ties, for some reason on my news today, it popped up. They're like, "Hey, do you know Han was from this other movie? Like, same character." Apparently, Han was the character Han in some MTV movie.
I never. What was the name of the movie? Do you remember?
I don't understand what you said.
I clicked on it once, and then I was like, "Listen, I got a teacher or something, so I'm just gonna not even read this or look at this." Anyway.
So there's a fight scene in the subway in this movie where Letty fights Gina Carano's character, which is pretty great. And then at the same time, there's Han and Tyrese fighting the bad guy of the other team, and they just get wrecked by this guy, and it's hilarious.
Well, at the end, they're both just like, "Yeah, we're not going to talk about that."
Yeah.
Well, also, this movie is also very self-aware because and Tyrese is apparently Deadpool because at one point he's just like, "All right, wait, hold on a second. So this team has the bad versions of all of us," and points out how like the bad guys exactly mirror them. Like,
I feel like he does that in like about every movie from like 5 on. There's at least one scene where he's like talking about just how ridiculous
he is.
What they're doing.
He's 100%. He's just the Deadpool. I also love in that movie. Every time he talks to The Rock, he's like, "Oh, I thought I smelled baby oil." Like he just like he keeps making jokes, and he's pretty funny.
Yeah, the 6 at the end he has the scene where he's like walking, The Rock's walking in, Hobbs, whatever his name is, and Tyrese goes like, "You know, I thought I saw that baby oil," and he's like, The Rock says something about his big forehead, and that legitimately caused like Ludacris to crack, and they kept the scene in the movie.
Oh, nice! I love when they do that.
The line was, "Mia or Hobbs is here. Hide the baby oil," and then he just looks at him and goes, "Hide that 5 head you got," or whatever. Like, and then and then the Ludacris just like spits out his Corona. Yeah.
So that was not in the script. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, yeah,
beautiful.
And you can see it too. It's pretty funny just for Ludacris's reaction, but
that's Rule of 3 moment with The Rock where they call him 3 different Avengers. They're like, so Tyrese at the beginning is like, "Oh, we work for Captain America now," because they work for The Rock now in this movie. They call him Samoan Thor, and they call him the Hulk. So that's
3 out of 6.
Basically half of the Avengers.
Yeah,
and it shows.
I feel 6 is pretty strong. It just keeping on amping it up, which they continue to do, and 7, which I don't know if you want to take a guess is what that one is called, Josh.
7 is 7 is Furious 7. I remember. I know that. I also saw all of these earlier today, but they just get scrambled. Furious 7.
7 is. There is so much that's happening in that movie. It's so insane.
Ronda Rousey,
I don't even know where to start with it. Yeah, Ronda Rousey's in it as the bodyguard for
the. Also, why does Michelle Rodriguez get to fight all the ex MMA champions and somehow win?
I don't know, man.
Because she fought Gina Carano, she fought Ronda Rousey. She's just, I guess in this next one, maybe she'll fight. Who's the new Miranda Tate or someone? You know, just keep fighting all these MMA fighters that they bring into this franchise one at a time.
It is startling how much better of an actress Gina Carano is compared to Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey has that like mean face that she makes, like the mean puppy dog face.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty much her range.
Which also Gina Carano does too, but yeah.
Now, 7 is the one Jason Statham's like full in the movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And is this the one with the God's Eye?
Yes.
Okay. 7 is the movie where they were like, all right, we're going to retcon everything. We're just going to be like, all right, Tokyo Drift took place like 6 months ago because I killed Han, turns out, because you hurt my brother, so I killed Han. There's a couple things that they changed too. Yeah, where it is in the timeline, it shows Dom actually going and talking to the 40-year-old man boy. You get information from him.
He came back.
Yeah, he
didn't
has a cameo. Yeah.
How old is he in this one?
He's about 73, I think.
He can't. No, he's not. He's probably like 55.
No, it's the scene from the end of Tokyo Drift. Like it's like it's picking up right then. Like
yeah, and it's like some extra like dialogue that they filmed between them too.
Yeah.
The main thing I wanted to get into in this movie is what is the most ridiculous thing that happens, because there is so much good competition.
Oh, it's jumping the cars through 3 buildings.
Yeah.
In Dubai, it's going from one to the other because, and so at 7 I only got halfway through it. I didn't finish watching, but from what I remember is the gas gets stuck or the brake line gets cut or something, right? So they have to
jump to the second building.
Man, I worked at listen, you take that steering wheel and you do this and you shake it and you lose the speed. That's what I learned going down the hill. That's how you do it if the brakes don't work. Or apparently I could have just rammed it off the side. And took it over to another track and it'd have been fine.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Man, can you imagine how nervous you would be driving a car out of a skyscraper? Like, even if you like, you're like, I've practiced this a bunch, which is a funny sentence. Like, I know it's going to be okay, but it still must be so like you got your stomach, you're so like, but not them.
No, they're good.
So crazy that scene in any other movie would easily be the most ridiculous. But there's a scene in this movie where The Rock has his whole arm in a cast.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And he he just flexes his way.
You have to say the line.
Hold on, no, you gotta do it right. This
gotta go to work.
It's my favorite scene in the entire franchise.
Pulls a minigun off of a drone and starts shooting this minigun.
Yeah. I remember that.
My favorite thing in the franchise. Daddy's got to go to work.
I remember watching that with the manage. We just spent like the next 5 minutes her asking why wasn't he still in the hospital? Why didn't he just get up out of bed? And I'm just like, so the movie can happen. So I
want to watch all of these movies again with Amanda. That sounds.
Oh, we might be able to do that. We'll see.
I want to watch the deleted scene where it shows him having to sign out of the hospital AMA. They're like, sir, you can't just like, if you're going to leave, you have to sign this paper saying that your arm was broken. What do you know? Like, I want that 20 minutes of him like doing paperwork, signing that papers.
But you know what? It's not.
He just snaps the clipboard and says, "Daddy's got to go to work."
We know, sir. You keep saying that. We know you have to go to work, but you have to sign these papers, or we can't legally let you leave.
Your head very hard.
They put him in the wheelchair, and he just crumbles it like the taco in that gif of the person eating it, crumbling the taco. And he says it
puts
again.
a tank of NOS on it, and he just goes to shoots out of the 10th floor, whatever he's on.
Because Daddy's
also
gotta
a
go to
scene
work.
Where Vin Diesel and Jason Statham purposely ram each other head on because they're both too manly to turn away, and they get out and they're fine.
Are they fine?
Yes.
I have a correction for you, Jory, because that happened twice in the movie, which I forgot about before rewatching it. I was like, oh, that's insane.
That's real. They actually ran into each other head on.
The first time was pretty early on in the movie. And
it's like the first like 20 minutes. Yeah.
And then the second time was at that climactic scene where they were at the parking garage and he had that line about the street always wins or whatever it was.
I like that Vin Diesel has that. Yeah, Vin Diesel has that line about, oh, you reinforce your car. It's like bringing lead-lined boxing gloves to a match. Just like, all right,
okay. Stop being an idiot.
All right.
And then there's another scene where Vin Diesel in the collapsing parking garage drives his car up a naturally made ramp from this collapsing building to go up near a helicopter and throw a bag of grenades onto the like railing thing of the helicopter, which The Rock then shoots with a handgun to blow up the helicopter.
That's teamwork, is what that is.
There is a scene where one of the bad guys, and I forget his character's name, but Digimon Hansu, however you pronounce his name, he was like, something happened, and I can't repeat it because it was a swear, but he said it, and he yelled it, and it was like so angry that it made me laugh out loud, just how much emphasis he put into it. He earned his entire salary with that.
Don't forget
also, this was the helicopter. This is the one where they dropped out of the plane with the
with the
parachutes on the
parachutes.
cars.
And this is also
And,
where the way that the Rock, or not the Rock, the way that Vin Diesel gets away from all the bad guys is he drives down a hill and tumbles down a hill.
Oh yeah.
But he has her put on a helmet first, so.
But he's fine. He doesn't need one.
He's already got so
what's
much
her
brain
name
damage.
again, by the way, her character's name.
I have no idea.
It's like Reese or something. It's like it starts with an R. It was some
You
generic
talking about
name.
the hacker?
Yeah.
It wasn't Reese.
Which why did
It was something with an R.
Also, Ludacris is the
Yes,
best.
Ramsey. It was
Ramsey.
Ramsey.
It was Ramsey.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I feel like you guys like Furious 7.
There was there's
movie
also
is visual cocaine.
It's
just, if I could do a line of that movie, you would die.
The garage scene, Dom is out and he's like, I think Brian's doing like CPR on him, and for some reason Letty gets her like memory back magically and has Brian stop CPR, which goes against all the protocols I've been ever taught in my life for that. But he comes back, he's fine. Dom, that is. Like chest compressions, no. Telling him about how your amnesia's all of a sudden gone, yes.
All it takes. Yeah. She's like, she's had like flashbacks throughout the entire movie. Like anytime she sees something that reminds, like she sees the locket and like flashes, like it just keeps happening like that. But yeah. So yeah, no, it was. It's like once they figure out what they're doing, it's the most Fast and Furious. Well, I didn't rewatch 8, but it's a pretty over the top Fast and Furious movie.
I would say it's also important to note too that this is the movie that Paul Walker passed away during the filming of.
That's right.
And so they'd finished the scenes with like his brothers, I think, and doing like CGI and stuff. And I was actually looking, I'm like, I wonder if I can tell. And there was like one scene in that third skyscraper that I could tell, and like that ending scene you could tell, but
yeah, the ending scenes where you could tell the most. Yeah, these brothers a body double and then CGI'd over his face because I was like, well, it's mostly the same. So,
but I thought they did a good job with it, all things considered. Obviously, it's a very unique situation having one of your main stars just all of a sudden die in the middle of filming. But I thought they did well with it.
Like they wrote him off in a good way too. That worked.
It wasn't just like Brian flew back to his home planet or whatever. That I butchered that Simpsons reference, but or just like gone or died off camera or whatever. It was like, hey, he actually had a happy ending.
Yeah, and goes.
It's weird that in the new movie coming out that Mia's back, but
is she? I was wondering if they were going to bring her back. Like I almost felt like she couldn't come back because that would almost be like disrespectful to come back and.
But also,
and
I don't
Mia
know what
is
other
Dom's
work she's
sister, right?
Dom's sister and Paul Walker's.
And in the movie
Hey,
canon,
Mama.
though, Paul Walker's not dead. He just like, I'm going to go be with my family, right?
Yeah.
So it is kind of
They were
weird
going
to
down a
bring her
road,
back, isn't it?
Josh, it was a very good metaphor. They're going down a road, and there was a fork, and then he's going down his path, and Dom's going down his path.
And you know what? You're right, Kevin. Like it was pretty good.
Like you, my friend.
So was Fate of the Furious or Hobbs and Shaw next? Hobbs and Shaw is the most recent one.
Fate was next.
Fate of the
was,
Furious,
I think, 2017, and then Hobbs and Shaw was 2019.
Correct.
What very clearly is the last movie in the franchise, because if you're going to call it Fate of the Furious, like that's the epilogue.
Words
right?
don't mean anything.
I know it's the number
Remember,
8.
it's the
guys.
dice. It's the dice.
number 8.
The dice.
It's the Mad Libs dice that they use to name these movies.
So
They
Fate of the
definitely called it
Furious.
Fast and Furious 8, and they're like, whoa. What if we put the 8 by the F?
I learned when looking up all these names and putting them on the list, which we're about to do. So apparently, like internationally, they just have normal names. They're just like called Fast and Furious 2, Fast and Furious 3, Fast and Furious.
That didn't surprise me.
Terrible. Then that Ludacris song doesn't make sense because when he says too fast, too furious, what is he referencing?
He's just talking about being
Going too fast and too furious.
Yeah.
And what happens is there's a different version of that song, and the lyrics, what it is he's saying two as in TOO, but in the American version he's saying two TWO.
which
So he had to make
Entirely different.
he had to record 2 different songs.
Yeah.
So
I'm just glad he didn't have to do a song where he said Fast and Furious 2, Fast and Furious 2.
well, that was the international cut. He did that.
Yeah.
That's just not what we hear.
Right.
The Fate of the
Good
Furious
luck.
was the first one I saw in the movie theater. And
I think I saw it with you. Yeah.
I didn't like it.
You know the bad guy from the last movie? He's a good guy now.
Yep.
He's a good guy, and also your villain is Dom, who is fighting his family
for really bad reasons.
Because so I was talking about this before you hopped on, because 8 it's the one I didn't watch or rewatch it. So the only time I saw it was in theaters. So from my memory, so the plot of 8 is Dom had a child with Elena, the Brazilian officer, and Charlize Theron is using that as a way to bribe him to go do a thing, and in doing that thing, he has to fight his family. Yeah. But he can't just tell his family that he has a child that they would immediately embrace because they're his family.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's weird to like use, because the fiction is so stupid. The canon is so dumb because it's not because again, around 5 and 6, they were like, you know what, guys, we're this now. So it's not like there's, you know what I mean? It's not like this is like some classical novel or something. It's pretty shallow. Maybe I can say that.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's hard.
That's fair.
To like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense in canon, because nothing makes sense in canon. Who cares? Literally, the only rule they have established is no, family's all that matters. Okay, well, you better have a damn good reason for
except that it doesn't, because apparently John Cena has been his brother the whole time.
Well, that's why family matters so much to him, though, because a real family, he lost that. Yeah. We'll figure it out. I don't know, but I don't have much to say about this movie other than I thought it was pretty bad.
There was
not a fan.
There were zombie cars in this movie, where the technology that Cypher, aka Charlize Theron, had, like, just taking over cars and causing. Oh, there we go. Chaos and all that, which I think was fine.
There's Charlize Theron, like fresh from her vacation at Sandals with her braided hair, inexplicably in this movie.
I did not like her that much because I feel like she played. It's weird because, like, considering the tone of these movies now, I feel like she was playing it like almost too like low or too serious. Because I remember there was one time where she was doing something that she said had some line about like the cars being under warranty or something like that. I'm just like, what? That doesn't, like, it just sounded bad how she delivered that. And I don't know. I feel like it could have been, it's not like
I don't think she's the problem here.
So like the dialogue is the problem.
Yeah.
Most likely.
I don't know. I will say too, we also, I don't think.
Movies.
Oh yeah, you're right. Like she can actually do the craft that she's doing.
Yeah. She, I don't know. I felt like the character was kind of like, again, they're having to up the ante between like the villain, stealing DVD players, and now it's, this cyber terrorist or whatever. I will say that I just lost my train of thought. There was also, I'm going all over the place here.
So was
but
the
that
movie.
ending scene with like the submarine.
That's the one with the ice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's the torpedo on the ice, and they just kind of push it away.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't think it was, as good as some of the other ones, but it was the level of ridiculous that it needed to be. I don't know about the execution of it being comparable to some of the other like climactic scenes in the previous ones, but I
think I just disliked the movie so much that by the time they got to the ice and it's this crazy nonsense, again, I'll watch them go to space, sure. But like by the time they got there, I'm like, this isn't even fun because this movie's so bad that it's not any fun.
Yeah, it was. I was rewatching. I'm like, this just like it was a lot to. I mean, I got through it, but it's not like I was disliking watching it, but it wasn't like making me, like we just talked about Seven, how there were like so many moments that were ridiculous, but also just like we were laughing about it. And this one is just like, all right, stuff happened, whatever.
Yeah. To got Statham in the plane with the baby, that part's cool. And
Statham killed Han, but it's fine. He saved that baby, so.
Yeah.
There was also, I don't know, remember.
They did what?
They have the part where the cars come off the parking garage and she's remote controlling them. And those are the only two scenes that I remember in this entire movie.
I forgot that I don't remember if I think we brought up early in the stream, but Kurt Russell's character, Mr. Nobody, was introduced in 7, came back in 8. There was like his sidekick or whoever. I don't remember his name or his actor's name, to be honest.
Oh, was it Scott Eastwood?
Oh yeah, I think it was.
You could say any sort of white person name, and I would say yes. Yeah.
They're like, we need a Brian replacement. Let's get this guy.
Oh, the Brian replacement. Now that you say those words, I remember what we're talking about. The Brian
it's 100%,
replacement.
it's 100% Scott Eastwood.
But yeah, it had its moments, but I don't think it was as consistent. This one was directed by
F. Gary Gray. Or F. Gary Gray, sorry.
There was I was looking at the filmography earlier. The name sounds familiar.
He did the newest Men in Black movie. Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton. That's Law Abiding Citizen. You know, he did The Italian Job, which is a movie I actually really like.
That's pretty much a Fast and Furious movie, just with heck, it used to have Statham in it, so
yeah, it's basically the same.
Yeah, but I don't have too much more to say about this movie. It was, do we have any deaths in?
I will say
here. I don't think, because I know Cypher got away at the end. Yeah.
I think Gal Gadot was the last person that actually died in these movies.
Yeah,
or is the only person that has died and stayed dead now.
Yeah, which nobody's really dead, but
right. Yeah. Except for the Scotty or whatever it was in the first movie who got shot. Yeah. He did. Yeah,
back when they were humans.
You know what? He'll probably be back in Fast 11.
Hey, honestly, if he showed up, I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Well, it's like when you bring stuff back, you get all of the like low-hanging fruit first, the stuff that's obvious, and then you're like, hey, you guys want to see an Admiral Akbar series? And everyone's like, no. And they're like, well, good, because we're making a Captain Panaka series. You want to see that, right?
Doing some deep cuts.
I will say about this movie, this movie made me think this is the downswing, and this might not last too much longer. Yeah. I mean, it'll keep making money, but like maybe after 10 they might be done, because
it feels like the meme is dead.
Yeah.
That's definitely the way I felt about it.
9 could be
maybe it'll be a lot of fun,
in a good way instead of ridiculous. Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel
we want to move.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'll definitely. I'm at this point, like, I was always for years. I'm like, I don't want to see a Fast and Furious movie. Like, that just seems dumb. I don't care. And Ben and Joel are like, no, dude, you got to watch them. They're fun. And again, they were right. Like, they are. But I honestly 8 was not a whole lot of fun, in my opinion. And if that's like the point of the movie, then you did something wrong.
Do we want to touch on Hubs and Shoe?
Hubs and Shoe.
Hubs and Shoe.
Yeah, let's talk about Hubs and Shoe.
Yeah, if you want to talk about a campy, over-the-top movie, man, Hubs and Shoe went all in.
Yeah, it was fine. No,
it's fine. I enjoyed the movie, but no, you have a superhuman. You have a motorcycle that somehow detaches and does.
Are you talking about that scene where he slides under the truck?
Transformer noises.
Yeah, he has a transforming. It goes like and like he literally goes like and goes sideways and goes under it. Like it's almost like the Batmobile in Dark Knight. Like it can do things it shouldn't, and like comes apart and comes back together, and like it also can come to him without him on it. Like it's self-driving. Like he just like boop boop, and it comes to him.
Mm-hmm.
They right on his Fitbit. Call Idris Elba Black Superman.
Yeah, they call him Black Superman. He calls himself. He says, "I'm Black Superman." Like, and it's true.
I don't think I have seen this movie. I think I just saw the preview.
Well, can we spoil it for you, or
spoil it? Do it.
All right. So basically, nobody from the mainline series shows up aside, Hobbs or Shaw. Like even none of the secondary characters.
Helen Mirren shows up though.
Oh, Helen Mirren, who will be joining us later on.
Yes.
We'll ask her about that.
Hey, everybody, thank you for staying tuned. She's going to be up in about 5 minutes. She's just been waiting and watching.
She is imprisoned at this point, which I don't even think we touched on her
Not
involvement
by us in the movie.
Yeah, but she's in prison, and she's her thing is that she always like tends to get like Shaw to like kind of soften up a little bit, and then he's like every time, which is a running gag, but it's still funny enough, I guess. He also has a sister, or Shaw has a sister, which I forget her name, even though I just watched this yesterday.
Oh gosh, I can't think of her name. And
Research.
And she was in Guardians of the Galaxy too, wasn't she? She was the gold chick.
What? Really?
Yeah, that's the same person. You just couldn't tell because she was gold.
But
So
yeah,
I
she
take it
injected
she
like
wasn't
there's
gold in this movie.
She was not gold in this movie.
there was a like the gist of the plot is like there's some super virus that she's going to retrieve, and she injects it into herself, I think.
Cool.
And so like Hobbs and Shaw, like I forget who recruit them, but they have to retrieve them. The plot isn't important here. It's just basically the Rock and Jason Statham insulting each other the whole movie.
With
Just like trying to
bit
one
of
up each other
Ryan
with their
Reynolds.
toxic masculinity, more or less.
Wait,
Get a
Ryan
little
Reynolds
splash of
is
rock.
actually in this film?
Yes.
For like 30 seconds, and it's
Ah.
He
like,
has
Cameo?
he has a hilarious role where he's like a CIA agent that like thinks he's friends with The Rock and keeps talking to him like they're friends. It's just it's actually his role is pretty funny. Also, Kevin Hart is in this movie because
The Rock,
because
works hard to
the Rock
everything
just
together.
keeps Kevin Hart in his pocket. He's just like, I want to put him in this movie. He just pulls him out and they film it.
he's
and then he puts him back in.
air marshal. Like it's just that they meet on a plane, which comes in handy later because they need a plane. Like it's just
to go
it's
from
just
to
Kevin
Samoa.
Hart. And
So is
Hart
Kevin
wants to
Hart
join the
also
team.
like kind of a small role in the movie?
Yeah, he's in the movie for like
So they're
5
like,
minutes.
let's just throw in some really like funny dudes to just kind of be there.
Rob
for a minute.
Delaney is in this, who he was the other CIA agent, the one who was recruiting Shaw.
I don't even know who Rob Delaney is.
He's a comedian. I think if you Google his face, you might know him. Maybe not. Who cares? We'll move on.
I'll do it.
But yeah, it's
Really
definitely
leans into
the
the comedy.
yeah, it's the least. I mean, there's like car scenes, but it's definitely like just a pure,
it's just
action.
an action movie. It's just more of just action, less.
It's Fast and Furious in name only.
Yeah,
And that's
It's like
Jason
Fast
Statham
and
doesn't
Furious
drive it.
presents, I should say.
except for at the
Shaw.
end where they have all of the cars with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Roman's
Also,
in it?
I do want to. I do want to retract what I said. She was not in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Too bad.
She wasn't in Mission Impossible though. That's where I was thinking of her
as
from.
the gold woman.
She was the gold chick in Mission Impossible. Yeah.
This movie has the scene towards the climax where Idris Elba's character is in the helicopter and they're trying to like shoot down. They're trying to like get his Shaw's sister because again she has the virus in her, and they are extracting it so it can be destroyed or some garbage like that.
Hey, what does the
But they're shooting
virus do?
It melts people's insides, or Ryan Reynolds put it better than I did. But,
I think he put it in some terms we can't say.
I see.
Yeah.
but yeah, it does. It's like a super virus or whatever. So she injected it into herself, so it wouldn't
guys
like
couldn't
get
get it.
out.
Yeah.
And then there's a machine that was able to extract it, but then it got broken, and they had to go to Samoa so the Rock's brother, who we hadn't spoke to in 25 years, could repair it. Anyway,
Which every
The
time
Rock has a brother
says
too.
Sam Wow.
Yeah, The Rock has a brother. Also, The Rock's brother works on cars, but somehow is also enough of a tech expert that they can figure out how to extract this very, high
yeah, I
tech
hope he
out of
meets
this woman.
Ludacris at some point because
Yeah,
they
they
are
need
just
to.
That's
this.
the next spinoff right there.
Yeah.
After the
But,
Toretto saga.
But this scene that the helicopter's going after them, and they like attach like something to it, like chains or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's like a tow truck, and the chain is attached to the helicopter, and the chain is going loose. And the Rock, it goes loose, but then the Rock is on the back of a truck, and with one arm is holding the chain.
He Captain America's
With the helicopter.
He saw Winter Soldier and said,
He absolutely saw Chris Evans do that.
"I'm doing that."
Oh, I'm The Rock. I can do that.
Yeah.
But
and probably
in all
better.
fairness, one of the helicopter rotors was damaged, so that was probably fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, there's a scene with like 8 different cars being dangled from a helicopter as it's trying to fly, and they're all just
Yeah.
There's also a fun note about this because the company or organization that Idris Elba's character works for, which is like some sort of like deep cyber ops or some garbage like that. There's like a voice that is like some boss or whatever, and the voice like talks to Statham and The Rock at the end, and the voice is not supposed to be anybody. It's done by Ryan Reynolds under a pseudonym, but I don't think it's supposed to be like his character. I was looking this up on Wikipedia earlier, and apparently that role was originally supposed to be played by, going back to the original movie, be played by Keanu Reeves.
Oh.
But they couldn't get him to commit to it. So
they're like, hey, Ryan, you're here. Want to record this real quick?
They've got their eyes on him, hey?
Yeah. Basically any big action star they want to get in this franchise, I feel at this point.
It's very much it's like the Expendables at this point. It's like, all right, what other
Expendables under 70 years old.
Yeah. So it was fine. Yeah. And then I wonder if that organization is going to show up in Fast 9 at all. I forget what they were called, but
it started with an E.
Etion?
I keep want to say like IDOS, but I think that's a game company. Then I want to say Epcot, and that's that stuff down at Disney.
Yeah,
that's so this stuff organization can make cyborgs and controls the news worldwide.
Yeah. Also, don't forget they can bring back the dead because Idris Elba's character was shot in the head, I believe,
by Statham.
And they brought him back to life. So death doesn't matter in this universe.
And there were some scenes where Idris Elba was in his like suit, and it was like, this is pretty much just Iron Man with like the shots of it, like with the interface that he was seeing, that first person POV.
Yeah, he's a cyborg. Like he's a human with, cybernetic parts.
But the key to beating cyborgs is teamwork, which took them 2.5 hours to figure out. Because the entire movie is them refusing to work together, even though death should be imminent, but death doesn't matter in these movies. Well, but then they're like, hey, if we punch at the same time, maybe we'll win.
Hey, you guys just want to fuse? Like, we've been able to fuse the whole time. Maybe we should do that.
It's essentially what happens. Like, they realize, like, oh, we can do combos together. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Variable combination finish. Like, let's just do double Shinku Hadouken. It'll be fun.
That's how they beat him. Like,
God.
Yeah, so I think I just didn't see that movie, and that's fine.
It's a fun little if you just want a movie on, like.
Yeah. Don't go out of your way, but if it's on or it's easily accessible, then go ahead and watch it.
I think that is the conclusion that I've come to, is because at first I'm like, maybe I'll watch that. No. I'll watch it at some point, but organically, not on purpose.
Yeah, don't go out of your way to do
it. It's on HBO now.
It's not anymore.
Whatever.
It's not anymore. I had to purchase it on Vudu.
Yeah.
It
was
I'm
before.
Not that committed to this stream to rent these movies.
It was.
He didn't rent it. We bought it,
but it isn't now.
Well, and nothing's on HBO now because that's gone.
So Hobbs and Shaw, better than 8?
Yes.
What do you think, Steven?
I probably I haven't seen 8 since it came out. I didn't get to rewatch that one, but I feel like I don't remember leaving that one being like overly excited. So yeah, probably.
All right,
I'm gonna save that one for the S tier rankings.
I was about to say, let's put them on the big board.
We got to keep this. Are we going to interview Helen before or after this?
We'll do it after. We're gonna save that for the Patreon.
Yeah.
I'm sure she doesn't have anything better
Sorry,
to do,
guys,
so.
you don't get to see it unless you. She is actually. She texted me earlier, and she's ready. So let's roll through the tier list.
The tiers, then we'll get her on.
So we can get to Helen Mirren.
Yeah. I did pull up, and I'm just curious if you guys wanted to know or think if you could guess what the top grossing Fast and Furious movie is.
That's an interesting question, isn't it?
I'm gonna say 6.
Okay, Kevin.
I'm gonna go with 7.
And Josh.
It seems like it would either be Hobbs and Shaw or 7, just because they're recent.
Ooh, this does not include Hobbs and Shaw, so I can't. This is just main main canon movies. I don't know what Hobbs and Shaw made. Actually, that's a lie. Hobbs and Shaw is on here. I lied. It's just not where I thought it was.
Okay, what do we got?
The number one is Furious 7. So I think this is just domestic. But yeah, 300 million. There's 353 million.
So the worst movie, Fate of the Furious, actually made less money too.
Yeah, so yeah, nice. Furious 7, which also makes sense. That was Paul Walker's last movie. That's probably what, Furious 6, The Fate of the Furious, Fast 5, Hobbs and Shaw, Fast and Furious, The Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, and then Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, which only made 62 million domestic.
Oh, you mean?
Oh wow, that's not much.
Furious.
Even now, go through adjusted for inflation.
I mean, I can do that for you. It's just going to take me a minute.
All right.
We got time.
Fast and Furious. No, not Fast and Furious. That is a different movie. My goodness.
Yeah.
The Fast and the Furious. Where does it go?
I'm going to say A because it's 80% of Point Break, and Point Break is S. So it cannot also be S because it's not as good as Point Break.
Cool.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I could argue for S as far as these movies go.
Are we
also,
ranking these just
question.
in general, or are we ranking these on the basis of them being Fast and Furious
Very
movies?
important question.
Yeah, I was ranking them based on the franchise, not as a movie in general. Because if we're doing a movie in general,
well, then they would be very low.
we're starting at C.
It's going to be bottom heavy.
Yeah.
All right.
I just can't, in good conscience, put a lesser version of Point Break as an S.
Even if it is S for Fast and Furious.
I'm going to go with A as well.
Go with A.
I would put it S, but I'll be overruled for A.
Well, I feel like it almost doesn't matter what I say at this point. I certainly probably wouldn't put it at S, so it seems like it's going to A.
Yeah, I mean, it just being not just the best of the first, set of movies, which again is kind of damning with faint praise, but also just setting everything up for the rest of the franchise. Too, I thought, and we're talking about not just good but important to it too. That's a factor to play as well.
Yeah, it set everything up, and yeah.
All right, Too Fast, Too Furious. I'm gonna say it right.
Yep.
I would say C or D. It was fun. It had some fun moments.
This movie is complicated because it is fundamentally a bad movie. And
right.
It is so fun.
But we're talking about this is within the Fast and Furious hierarchy.
We can readjust as we're going, right?
We should have to, because if it's within the Fast and Furious hierarchy, one movie necessarily must be an S and one movie necessarily must be an F.
But there are 9 in total, so some of them are gonna.
Sure.
I was gonna say we can have multiple at different levels, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if the curve is Fast and Furious, then you must have an S and an F.
What was your grade?
I was gonna say C or D.
I'm gonna go D.
Jory, you're so torn up right now.
Yeah, I know.
Because I agree, it was fun. It was fun, but also it's not.
It's also bad.
It's also bad. Like as we're talking, I could even almost go to E, but I feel like
I think I'm gonna. I don't know if it matters what I say because I really want to say E, just because the more I think about that CGI, the more it's so bad.
The CGI.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say D because don't forget we have Tokyo Drift and we have Fast and Furious as well.
Okay.
That's my opinion. D.
Oh, maybe we should put it in E because pockets ain't empty. Cuz.
Oh no. So I was gonna say because I like when I don't even have to say a thing, and it seemed like it was going into D, but now it's what is it tied between D and E?
We can put it in D for now.
I think D. I think D for now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I would still watch that movie. And there's a couple in here I don't know that. And speaking of couple that E for me.
I'm gonna put that in F.
Oh, okay. Really?
I mean,
can we have 2 Fs?
I mean, is Han enough to bump it up a grade level, or?
It's not. It's actually better as a movie than Too Fast, Too Furious.
Ooh, I don't
But
know
it's
about
not
that.
as fun as Too Fast, Too Furious.
Right.
Is it not? I feel like I
don't
remember
think so.
feeling the opposite, but
It's
I
not
don't
as
know
much
if
like
that's true or not.
comedy in it. I feel well, not like a lot of the appeal of these movies is like the interplay between the main characters. Which
Oh, guys, don't
this
forget
one it's
also
like
Tokyo Drift gave us Lil Bow Wow.
he was just Bow Wow at the time.
He was finally just Bow Wow. at
Which
the
is
time.
he coming back? By the way,
He hasn't yet. Maybe
hope so.
There's still time.
there's still time. It's only a matter of time.
I'll go. We can readjust, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say E.
I'll say F.
Really? I'm gonna say no lower than a C. So what does that put it at? D or E? C
I
and
think,
F
well,
cancel out.
Yeah. Put it in E for now.
I would say E because I think I enjoy Fast and Furious or Too Fast more than I enjoy. Because before you even pull up the next one, Josh, it's an F for me.
Ooh.
I agree. The one where they went through the mountain was trash.
Like of all of these movies, that's the one movie. Like if I had to go back and rewatch them all again, I would not watch that one.
Agree.
I would put that as a C, but I'm not going to fight.
Wow.
No,
Let's say
no,
I'm
it averages. This is how it works.
This. Yeah.
I would say. I know we already have one ranked, but I would say probably C or D, leaning D for that.
So we had 2 Fs, a C, and what was yours, Jory?
I had C. Kevin had D.
Yeah.
We'll put it in D.
That seems like a solid. Yeah, sure.
Or is that too high? We'll put it in E.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
they're all going in the trash later anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Fast 5. This is the
That's
one where
an-
what happened?
That's an ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna go S. on this one.
I'd put Fast Five as an S.
Someone give me like the 2 high points so I remember which movie this one was.
As this is the introduction of The Rock.
This was the
Safe-
one where they
safe in Brazil.
dragged the safe on the.
Yep. I think
bridge.
I do think Fast 5 is like one of the I would probably say A. So what are we at?
I think
S.
the 3 of us said S. So
Everyone, okay, then it's an S. Awesome.
Yeah.
Fast 5. We love it, apparently.
Apparently.
Fast and Furious 6. What's like the scene in this one? Is this the tower
That's
jump
the
one?
evil
No, that's
team
the next one.
with the
This was the bridge
Never
scene
Ending
where
Runway.
Dom catches Letty in that
the
bridge.
tank. I would say B.
Yeah, and plane scene too. I'd say B. Yeah.
I'd say A.
It's going to B then,
Okay.
because I feel like I was not enthralled with that one. But who knows? I don't know. Furious 7.
Oh my
Furious
god!
7,
Is
I'm
that
gonna
the
say
logo?
Just hate
Why
the way
is-
I look at it.
Why is that logo that way?
Yeah, I just hate
Because
the way
it's not the same like style as the other ones. That's sorry. I would say
They
A.
got a new guy to do their titles.
It is the same as the other ones. What do you mean?
It's
It's different somehow.
it's
That's that
it's
like
it's
drag
more
behind
it's
it.
more bubbly than the other ones.
Listen, it's really.
Yeah, I'm not
The
saying the
7
other ones
makes
are
it look
great.
like
I'm
a
just saying
question
it's not
mark.
the same trash.
Yeah, that 7 looks
Different
like a question
trash.
mark, so
Different
it's
flavor.
like,
Yeah,
serious?
Yeah, it's a. What's the name? Yeah, I'll take a ticket to Furious. All right. Are you not sure if you want the ticket? No, I definitely want a ticket. just to Furious.
I give this. I'll put it in C.
Which one is this one?
Final
Ronda
Paul Walker.
Rousey,
Tower
skyscraper
jump, head-on collisions. Statham, full bad guy in this one.
The Rock going to work.
Like, oh yeah, breaking the
I
cast.
feel like Daddy's Got to Go to Work makes me give
Yeah,
it
that
at
might
least.
make it a B.
I think it's an A or a B.
Yeah, I
would've
feel
put it
like
in
I
B.
remember enjoying Furious 7 more than Furious 6. Excuse me.
I do too. I would say A for me.
I'm
I'd
AB
say B. So right in the middle.
right there. Fate of the Furious.
Trash.
I
Damn it,
actively like disliked this movie. I did not think this movie was fun.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have a good grasp on it because I haven't seen it in a while. Like
I would say
I mean, we're thinking like C, or
I'm thinking
like
I'm thinking
F.
CD
D?
range.
I'm thinking F.
oh, you would put that as an F before Fast and Furious.
I put Fast and Furious as F2 though.
I mean, I like 4 more than 8.
Wow. Okay.
And I can't think of any redeeming quality of 8.
Don't forget that submarine.
I like.
How can
Yeah, I
I
stand by what
did not
I said. I said
enjoy
what I
this
said.
movie. All right,
I would say
so Jory and I are at an F.
Kevin? What do you say?
I mean, I feel like I was gonna say CD, but I feel like C is too high, so I'd go down to like DE
Okay.
in that range there.
I don't have a good grasp on this movie, so I'll just defer to you guys. If we would like eat F, that's fine with me.
E or D? E.
Probably more E.
I didn't like that movie.
Man, pretty E heavy here.
I have to abstain from Hobbs and Shaw because I didn't see it.
I'll put
I
it
would
in
say-
C.
Yeah, I'd say it's a solid
Yeah,
C.
C.
Okay, easy.
Yeah.
So, by the calculations of this, what's a tribunal called when it's 4 people?
Quadra.
You know,
So, by
quadrennial?
our calculations, Fast 5 is the best Fast and Furious movie. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the right answer.
All right. Do we need to readjust anything?
do we want to do anything with that cluster at E there? Or?
Yeah,
I
guess
want
we
to
gotta
put
drop
Fate of the
someone
Furious in F.
If you want to put it in
I
F,
mean-
I'm fine with putting it in F.
I mean, you're the
Of
boss
those
here, so
3, which is your least favorite?
Also, I really didn't like Fast and Furious. God, this is so absurd
Yeah,
that we're
it's,
sitting here.
it's real dumb.
Oh
It's real dumb.
goodness.
Yeah. Correct.
Oh. Point being, I would put both of those in a F. 4 and 7.
Here, we could put both. You could just
Yeah,
put
we can do
both.
that.
If
We
I
could
had
just
to
do
watch
that.
Tokyo Drift or either of those two, I would watch Tokyo Drift hands down.
I think I would too. So
Hands
I'm
down.
Ha!
Nailed it.
I would be fine moving both those to F.
Let's do it.
I have no qualms with that.
I feel like you should. Well, we have Furious 7 at A, B. I feel like one of these should be at EF to kind of break the tie.
Oh.
That's fair.
Now you're just mashing it, Kevin. What do we
Hey, what-
That's
what-
a
what'd
hard
you say
tie
to
for
move,
me to
Kevin?
break because I saw one of them so much more recently, and
Yeah.
Fate of the Furious was the first one I saw in the theater, and I was like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't amped. I'm going to see Fast and Furious, like who cares? But I thought it was going to be fun, and I really did not have fun with Fate of the Furious. So I might be like biased because I actually went to the theater to see that, and I was like, eh. Whereas Fast and Furious 4, I watched it at home and was like, eh.
I feel like I would put Fate above Fast and Furious.
What do you?
I think I would too. But I mean,
We're just gonna put it right up.
We're-
in-
I would.
I was gonna
but
say,
I'm
I feel like
being overruled in that.
I feel like we're splitting hairs at this point. I feel like
Yeah.
they're both in the F. It's just how much of an F. They both got below 60, but we're talking about how much below 60 they get.
So it is interesting the spread of like the evolution of what this franchise is and the canon and the characters, because Fast 5 is like kind of, I feel like what we've said is the emergence of like it recognizing what it is. And then A tier right below that, you have like the first movie, which was very grounded compared to everything else.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the bottom, Fate of the Furious, okay, most recent one, so it's become this disaster where it's just this huge big budget garbo. But then the fourth one, very interesting. And again, maybe that was when it was like struggling to find out, and then 5 it found out. I don't know. I'm probably looking into this too hard. Also, we've been talking about Fast and Furious movies for quite a while, so
Yeah.
bye.
All right, so are we gonna reconvene the quadrennial after we see was it F9 the saga or whatever? What's the
Yeah,
Dude, you know
I think
what?
it's F9.
I'm gonna
not
go
doing
ahead and,
anymore with these titles. With these titles.
I'm gonna go ahead and save.
Yeah, can you take a screenshot of that and we'll post that as like the official ranking for us.
I'm just gonna save that right there, and then we can do like a 15-minute video when we see Fast 9 and pop it on.
I just saw Colton said he's in the chat, so he was saying some of his.
Oh no,
yeah.
I've been away from the chat for quite a while.
So I had other things pulled up.
Watching this garbage, or?
Colton hated Fast 8. Couldn't agree more. Yes, I think it was DD as well. And the hack battle. Oh,
yes, there was a hack battle.
The hack battle. You're so right.
Good call between
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Earlier.
I didn't mention on purpose because it was.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, I'm putting Fate back down in F because of the hack battle. Like,
there we go.
I'm not.
We'll
keep it where it belongs.
Thanks for keeping us honest, Colt.
There was one thing Colton wanted me to mention, and that was, I guess, recently the director, because both this and Jurassic Park are owned by Universal, and there was talks of a crossover for some reason.
Oh my!
And the director was quoted as, "Well, I never said never to anything."
Never say no.
Never say okay. I like that. He didn't say never say no to anything. He said never say never to anything.
Right.
That is acceptable.
Because why not? I mean, if you're Universal, you want to make stuff together. I guess you could do that. Take your two biggest blockbusters and put dinosaurs in your cars.
That's rough because like the recent Jurassic movies are not very good.
I know. I didn't even see the second one.
It was fine.
The first one was good. The second one was just not.
How bad this movie is. If they put a Velociraptor in a car, I'm buying 17 tickets.
Are you ready to see Dominic Toretto street fight a Velociraptor with a wrench? Because that's going to happen.
No,
maybe.
he's going to put it to sleep.
He's going to.
Yep, the street will win.
John Cena's character is just a secret T-Rex all this time.
So I still have not watched the trailer for that movie, and I think I'm not going to at this point because I got a week. So why would I?
The two things you need to know are John Cena's there and Han's not dead.
Yeah, I know those things, but that's all I know. I know he's his brother.
Anything else important?
But yes. I feel like I'm just going to go in.
John Cena and Vin Diesel are related.
Yeah, they're both.
This movie.
They're both from Caucasus, and they both have no hair, so it works. I could see it.
Can you?
It's no better than Mia and Dom. I mean,
I think this will be interesting because we mentioned earlier about how like 8 wasn't really good. If 9 is not good either, that's definitely not a good omen for the rest of the.
No, it isn't. It'll be like that time. It'll be like that time they released the first 2 Transformers movies, and they were both very bad.
I thought the first
another
Transformers was fun. The second one was awful.
Jason.
I'm just trolling right now.
No.
Not.
Look, here's the one thing I'll say about the second Transformers movie is that they actually beat the Decepticons multiple times. They can actually fight. In the other movies, they can't fight. Anyway, Fast and Furious.
All right, I don't know about you guys.
They might bring in Mark Wahlberg, and I'm not ready for that. So.
Oh no.
Also, wait,
Cardi B's going to be in this one, maybe, or
is Transformers? No, Transformers is not Universal. Transformers is Paramount. Wait, is Paramount even a company anymore?
I don't know.
Well,
yes, Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
they're
Paramount.
a subsidiary probably of some other company.
Because that was the other mashup we talked about was Transformers and G.I. Joe potentially mashing up. But all right, so
that's it.
Yep. Y'all excited for F9 Ultra Turbo Combo Super Mega Movie?
Championship Edition? Yeah.
I think it's going to be the first movie that I'll have seen since the pandemic. So in theaters, that is.
It will be for me. Yeah.
That'll be
the last one I saw was Sonic.
Yeah. Last theater movie I saw was Sonic, which was way better than it had any right to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Josh, do you just have a Sonic logo that you can throw in there on the S tier rankings?
The thumbnail is Sonic.
That's true.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we're done.
It all ties together.
Yeah. All right. Well, we did it. I'm furious.
I'm fast.
Oh, I'm not fast.
And
I am furious. When we started this, I felt pretty good.
I am Tokyo.
I am Tokyo.
Sorry for watching. Please like and subscribe to watch it some more.